Johnson, you have brought your teenage son to court to get the results of a paternity test to prove that he is not the father of the defendant's son, Kaiden. You say you've always had big plans for your son's future, and you're concerned that if this child is his, those dreams may now never come true. Ms. Longshore, you state that you are positive Mr. Lee is your son's father, even though he claims to have been a virgin before you met and that he slept with you only one time.
Yes,
you are hoping today's results will finally put an end to your search for your son's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, how can you be so certain that your son's not the father?
I wasn't around. This happened when I was at work, supposedly. So I don't know what's going on. And then on top of that, there was another guy tested.
How did you even find out about all of this?
One Saturday, I believe, when I had a day off of work, I was going through my Facebook messages because I don't check them a lot because it's just family and they have my number. And I had a message from Miss Longshore. And she was very apologetic in the letter and understood that I would be angry. And she had informed me that they had sexual relations at my home when I was at work.
And then she also obviously indicated that she thought your son was the father.
Initially, she thought somebody else was.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's what you told me, and I have the Facebook message right here.
It was between...
Jerome, would you please hand me
Sure.
that piece of evidence? Thank you.
See, when it started off, she initially told me that she didn't even think I was the father.
I had sex with a different guy, and we thought he was the father, but it turns out he's not. I've written Chevy several times on a DNA test, and he doesn't seem to care. I know you're going to be mad, and I completely understand why, but I need to know who my son's father is.
Well, the only reason why I wrote him on Facebook is because I had no way to contact him. I moved all the way to Ohio. I didn't have a phone number. I didn't have nothing. Facebook was the only way for me to contact them. And he never responded to any of the Facebook messages I sent him, so that's why I messaged his mom. I finally found her on Facebook.
And I'm glad that she did, but he's denying what she's saying because, speak up, son.
Well, I talked to her on Facebook, like we had a conversation on Facebook, and at first she was telling me like, oh, I'm pregnant, but I don't think you're the father. I had sex with other guys, it shouldn't even be you. And then afterwards, after the baby was born, she was like, oh, don't worry, it don't look like you, you're not the father. So I wasn't even worried.
I never said that. I told you plenty of times Kaiden looks just like you. Why are you lying in court?
No, you
Please
never
stop.
said that.
Please
in
stop.
the picture, you even tried to make him look like me afterwards, after you said, oh, we tested the other guy, so it has to be you.
No, not at
So
all.
tell me about how you two even got together.
We went to the same high school.
Okay.
We were never together. It was a friendship type thing, and we ended up having sex one day, and I got pregnant.
With
we
a
were
house
never
full
together.
of people, Judge.
We weren't.
And it wasn't like we ended up having sex. She was coming after this. This was not
You got
at all.
pregnant.
I was coming after that.
Yeah, she was
That
checking
is
on
what
me.
he-
It wasn't
Wow, I was
Okay.
coming after that. That's crazy.
Well, if this baby ends up being yours, it's going to be checking on you, too.
Yeah.
Every month. This is not a laughing matter.
But that's just the thing.
This is
It's
not a
going to be
laughing
me
matter.
every month, not him. You know, he's got a future. And I told him before, if this is your baby, whatever I got to do, I'll do it. Because I want him to finish college. I want him to go. I want him to achieve his dreams. I never got to achieve mine, okay? And I want that for him. And I was this young lady's age when I had my first kid. So it's not that I don't understand the struggle, but I know you gotta work at it. Ain't nobody just gonna give you nothing. And there's no reason for me to just accept a child when he was 5 months old when I got the Facebook message, okay?
But I told your son before he even hit 5 months old.
He did. You did.
That's not my fault that your son didn't come and tell you.
But you also told him that it wasn't his. So
because
he
it could have
felt-
been a possibility it was somebody else's.
Right, so that's why he didn't tell me. Because why face my wrath if he don't even know if this is his kid?
I'm not one for hiding the truth, but until he knew for sure that it could be him, he laid low and didn't tell his mama.
It's like, we never even saw her pregnant. We never saw pictures of her pregnant. It was
Thank
like,
you.
it was like just a baby out of nowhere.
What? Pregnant. You were tagged in my sonogram before you deleted me. What are you talking about?
You never added me.
Beyonce was.
You never added me.
Yes, I did.
I never saw a sonogram seen you on Facebook. I don't know what you're talking about.
We need to get some order in the court.
Please, may I
We're
say something?
tagging people in a sonogram now.
Judge,
I've
please,
never
can I
seen a
say
sonogram.
something? Judge, please. Please, Judge.
No. I'm on tagged in a sonogram. I want to understand. You tagged his name in the sonogram. That's what you did?
I tagged his Facebook in the sonogram, yeah.
So what my
she
point
couldn't
is,
tag
did you
me.
tag him and the other guy?
No.
Your Honor, I'm his Facebook friend. If she did that, I would have seen it because that's why I have a Facebook page to keep tabs on him and his brother because I know when they go out there, they're going to be doing stuff. I'm not crazy, so I check up on him. And when I see stuff, and my mother do too,
true, Your Honor.
all of my family is his friend. So whatever goes down, if I don't catch it, my mama going to call me and say, pull that boy in. Okay? So I don't know what she's talking about.
Miss Johnson, you don't have to explain to me. I'm friends with my nephew on his Facebook page, too. Because you got to look sometimes and make sure these young people are doing the right thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Or we may end up in paternity court.
And here we are.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Now, Miss Johnson, one of your concerns, and I see the passion as you speak directly to me, is you want to break a cycle
Yes, ma'am.
in your own life.
I was in college early at 16, and I didn't realize that between, sessions that you had to go somewhere. I was homeless. I had nowhere to go. So I moved to Philadelphia where my mom and my aunt was, and I met my oldest son's father, and I got pregnant. But I feel like my child saved my life because I didn't really care about my life until I got pregnant with my first son. And I realized, that God gave me this ability to have a baby. That's so powerful. And it feels great to feel them moving inside of you. And I had this love, and I was keeping my baby. And I used my son as inspiration to try to be a better person, to do what I got to do, to be on my grind. And that's what I did, Your Honor. When I was her age, I had a full-time job, went right back to work. I was working through my whole pregnancy. As soon as I had the baby, I went back to work.
So, Miss Johnson, you said you were homeless.
Yes.
What was your childhood like growing up?
My mother had some substance abuse issues, but she's made great strides to improve and change her life. So I know it can be done. Thank you.
With her mother as an addict, she raised her siblings, she raised all her brothers, and I was raised up with them.
So you know your mother's a very strong woman.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I know she'll do whatever it takes just to get us fed.
And you also know how much she wanted something different for you.
I had the football career planned out. I had the junior college that I was going to go to. And if this child comes, I won't be able to do that. It just terrifies me. It's like I was looking at females, but I wasn't trying to do anything like that. I was just strictly on my football career.
And so what happened that day? You couldn't find any football to think about?
What are you making it seem like this is just
Look,
me or something?
there wasn't no game on.
How is it
You
just
know-
my fault? How is it just my fault? You had sex with me too. I didn't have sex with myself. Come on now, get it together. Why didn't you think smart enough
When
to
you're
put a
gonna come
condom
over
on?
every day
I don't
and
walk
just
around
throw
with
it at me,
condoms.
I can't say no forever.
No,
if
he
you're
had-
gonna come over every day and just throw it at me,
I didn't
like,
come
oh,
to
you
your
want
house
some?
every day, so stop lying. Stop trying to make me seem like I'm a hoe, because you got it all twisted.
Do you believe she manipulated this?
Yeah, because he was a
That's
virgin.
what you
I
believe?
manipulated it.
She was on the prowl,
You
like
think
she was
she
after me.
seduced
He
you,
didn't go
set
there.
you up?
Yep,
Like
set you
I
up.
never met any of her family. I never went to her house. I didn't even know where she stayed
You
at
haven't met any of
until
my
she came
family?
over.
You haven't met none of my family? You didn't meet my brother who went to the same
Miss
school as us?
Longshore,
I was
let me ask you
after.
this,
Come
Miss
on now, get it
Longshore.
together.
So you two weren't even dating. You were saying you were just friends.
Yes.
And that's what I thought.
Did you want to be more than a friend?
I did like him, and he needs to stop acting like he didn't like me back, because you was telling everybody at school that you liked me. So
liked
stop
her
acting like
too,
you didn't.
Judge.
Stop
I
acting like
liked
it's
her
just
too.
me, dude. Don't try to put a front on for
When I
court.
met her,
Don't
I
do
liked
it.
her.
Because you get shut down. Don't do
She
it.
was a nice young lady. She seemed very respectful, and I thought she was cute. Okay? So I didn't really have a problem with her. So even the day that she left, because both of us was homeless at the same time, staying at the motel. Okay, that's where we lived. She left before I did. It took me about 1.5 years to save up enough money to actually have an apartment to get out of this situation because we had lost our home and we didn't have anywhere to go because they don't have like shelters and stuff sitting around in Florida. You gotta make it happen. So that's what we did, you know? So that's where I met her. And I didn't have any issue with her. And then when she moved to Ohio, I gave her a hug and said goodbye and everything. I ain't had no problem with her until I got the Facebook message, and I'm shaking inside because I'm working 2 jobs. What the hell are y'all doing? Seriously.
And you're right. You are completely right. You are completely right. There's no wrong in you about it. And I know I made a mistake.
This is how I feel. If you get pregnant, that's your responsibility.
And I am.
Mama's baby, Papa's maybe, sweetie.
And I am.
If he had the baby,
I can play mommy and daddy all day.
I would know that that's my grandchild. I'm sorry. So you got to stand up and do something or fall for everything.
And I am.
Period. And I was your age and I had to stand up. So I know
you should know exactly where I'm coming from.
I do.
All right,
but you got to be stronger. And
I'm trying.
Honey,
you don't live where I live. You don't do what I do. You don't have what I have. You don't have to go through what I go through, okay? You're an adult. I've been homeless with my son on the streets.
And so was I.
Okay, so then you should know where I come from.
Exactly, and I got off when I did something.
And I'm trying.
Stop being a victim.
I'm not.
You are. You are.
I can play mommy and daddy all day.
Really?
With no problem.
Really?
I'm here for my son, not for me.
So
Order. Let's get some order. Let's get some order. I needed and I wanted to let that play out because that was what you call raw testimony. And it allowed me to see something that I think is truly interesting that Ms. Longshore, you may be missing. There's a part of Ms. Johnson that relates to exactly where you are. Mm-hmm. There's a level of caring that she's expressing for you if you listen to her words. It's not hatred that she feels towards you. It's hurt. Mm-hmm. And let me have a woman-to-woman mother moment with you. At the end of the day, women have the choice. I don't care if you were after him, he was after you, it doesn't matter. He can't come in unless you open the door, right?
Wide open.
I don't need anything from the peanut game, Mr. Lee. My point is, this was consensual. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because of that, as a woman, you've got to know going forward that the buck does stop with you. Because whether he decides to use a condom or use protection, this is him or any man. You make the call, because it's your body.
You're absolutely
correct. And every woman in this room that's a mother knows, at the end of the day, that baby's looking right at you. And Mr. Lee?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's only so long you can hide behind your mother.
Oh.
Now,
I remember that.
one thing's for sure, she's a strong woman, but she can't hide you from me.
Oh, I'm not trying to hide, Your Honor.
I see what's going on.
Your Honor, I'm not trying to hide.
What I don't want you to do with your handsome football-playing, bright-futured self is to think you are without responsibility and that this is a joke. Ain't no shoulder brushing in here, sweetie. You got in the game.
I'm not denying my part in this.
So, now that you in the game, you got to figure out how to score, right? You got to figure out how to win. Have you paid for anything as it relates to the child? Have
yes,
you
Your Honor, I sent her money. I sent her what I could while I was still working.
So I need to ask you this, Mom.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he send it or did you send it for him?
I made him send it because I didn't have sex with her. He did.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? But
Good.
this was the thing, though. It's like, when the amount of money she was asking for, I didn't understand why so little. I really didn't understand.
Why so little?
Yes, because she has a father and a stepmother, you know, so it made me question, you know? Little things like that, you know, I just didn't get it.
That's what fueled your doubt even further regarding the situation.
Yes, ma'am.
For me to ask my parents for stuff, they don't have it to give it to me.
So, but what makes you think I do?
It's worth to try to ask, though, isn't it? When it comes to my son.
I got 4 kids that I'm struggling to feed. 2 is big dudes, and I got 2 little girls that's growing every other day, and you got 1 damn kid. Find money.
I understand that. That's what I was trying to do.
That's what I mean about not being a victim and being a survivor. Because I was your age and I made it happen. You can make it happen
Miss
too.
Longshore.
You're stronger than you think, baby. You're stronger than you think.
You know, I think it's time for the results.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I know you all are ready to know. Jerome, do you have the envelope?
I certainly do. There you go, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In the case of Johnson, Lee versus Longshore, these results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. As it pertains to 18-month-old Kaiden Longshore, Mr. Lee, it is without question you are Kaiden's.
Told you. I ain't got nothing left to say. Told you. Nothing left to say. Nothing left to say. Kiss my.
Can I see my grandchild, please?
Jerome, can you please go see if you can
Just hang tight.
get Miss Longshore together?
I need to see my grandson, Your Honor, please. Please, I've never seen him. I never touched him.
Miss
Please, Your
Johnson,
Honor.
I am going to do my best to make that happen.
Oh, my God.
Please take a
I
seat.
feel dizzy.
Deontay, sit your mother down, please. Have a seat.
Oh. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh.
Here, listen. Wipe your eyes.
Oh, my God.
I'm so glad you have the truth.
Thank you for making it happen. Thank you so much.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. It's very important for families to get the truth because that doubt would have always distanced you.
I don't hate her. I don't.
Look, here it comes. Here it comes.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, little man. Hi, little man. I'm Grandma. Come here, let me look at you.
Can I hold my son?
Okay, you can hold your
Can I
son.
hold my son?
Oh my God. Wait. Hi, baby. Oh, I love you so much already. Let me see your little stinky feet. Let me see your little stinky feet. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh, he's got your toes, Cisco. Mwah. Mwah.
Mr. Smith, you have brought your estranged wife to court to prove that you are the biological father of her 4-year-old daughter, Christina Cookie Smith. You signed the birth certificate and have been daddy since she was born and claim you know you are her father. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Smith, you admit that you allowed your husband to sign the birth certificate and initially believed he was Cookie's father, but as your daughter got older, she no longer looked like him. And now you believe another man is her dad. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, take us back to the beginning of your relationship with Mrs. Smith.
In the beginning, we actually met in middle school. We went out through, like, I want to say 7th, 8th grade, and then we reconnected after high school.
All right, and you dated, fell in love?
Right. We actually got married.
Okay.
We actually ended up getting new phones around that time.
Okay.
So it's just like the other phones were kind of lingering around. So I'm just casually just going through them. And, you know, I saw text messages, some photos between my wife and some other cat.
What did you see? What was the exchange?
Well, it was like, you know, I miss you. You know, when you miss a person, you know, apparently you've seen them before. You know, nude photos.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And
Nude photos of your wife or of the man?
let's say a little-
Excuse me, Your Honor.
little bit
I've
of
never
both.
seen any of these alleged text messages that he's talking about.
Well, did you send them? I mean, even if you haven't seen them, did you send them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, then he's seen them. So what happened, Mr. Smith, when you see these text messages with nude photos and I miss you?
I basically, I let my parents know what was going on, and I packed up and I left. I had to.
So you then called your family member, your mother.
Right. Just to, because she's my support. She helps me on everything. You know what I mean? Everything. And that's just out of natural, just natural affection for
You
my
were
mom.
upset.
Yeah, I had to go to my mama. I had to. So she talked me through it, and she actually, helped me get through a lot.
So at some point, Miss Smith, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am. When I found out I was pregnant, we were very excited. I told Christian we weren't together. And I thought that this could be a chance for us to reconnect and make our marriage work. And he agreed, and shortly after, we got back together.
And so you found out you were pregnant, you told Mr. Smith, when you found out she was pregnant, were you happy about it?
Extremely happy.
You were extremely happy.
Extremely happy.
And she said she hoped that this would help rekindle your relationship, did it?
I didn't know what love was until I met this person.
Right.
So then, and I'm having a baby with this person as well. You can't ask for more. I already got everything I need.
So, were you there at the hospital when she was born?
I mean, priority number one.
Okay.
Hey, sure, but it was a cesarean section birth. So what I made sure was, since I couldn't cut the cord, I asked the doctor, can I lean over, can I see, because you can only see that one time, it can only happen one time. So now, when Cookie is 18, 21, 40, I can tell her
that
I saw you come into this earth. You know what I mean? The first time you just came out in there.
I understand. And so you were there?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were happy?
Ecstatic.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. And she has your last name?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, Mr. Smith, at what point do you start having paternity doubts about Christina?
So I'm in the shower one day. I believe Khalita's at work, Cookie's out there. I'm watching her, and I just noticed something that doesn't need to be there. I didn't put it there. I know everything that goes on in my house, so it's just a CD that I see that's out of place. I'm like, I didn't put this in here. So the number that was on the CD, you know how people can pass out CDs?
Yes, their contact information.
Right, that number, it's just something about that number. I ain't forget about that number. And then I saw an Instagram name. So I immediately I look up their Instagram. So I'm scrolling, man, I see somebody holding my daughter.
Whoa.
With a,
What?
with a cheese, one of these, with a cheese on their face, like it's all happy and everything.
So does it have a caption?
It did have a caption, but I not for word verbatim, but it was something in the line of him claiming her, though. It was that.
So this photo, you actually submitted in your court papers. This is the photo you saw on Instagram?
Honestly, though, I don't want to, I don't like looking at that. I don't like looking at that at all.
You can't even look at it.
Nah.
Who is this man?
Well, Your Honor, his name is Joseph. I actually met Joseph after we separated. And around the time, I was very vulnerable. And he was the only one showing me any type of attention or any love, which I needed because I felt lonely around the time because my husband left me alone. So, yeah.
You had sex with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you use protection?
No, ma'am.
Did you tell him you were married?
No, I did not.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So Cookie is now 4 years old, and you believe that she is this man's biological child,
Yes, Your Honor.
not your husband.
No.
But for the first 2 years, you allowed your husband to believe that she was his without ever saying, while we were separated, I had sex with another guy, unprotected. When I got pregnant, there's a question.
Yes, ma'am, because I didn't feel like it was any need to bring it up to him because when me and Joseph hooked up, we were separated. So I didn't tell my husband about it.
But at the point you find out you're pregnant, shouldn't you at least put these cards on the table?
Yeah,
Because he's bonding with this child for 2 years.
correct.
Especially
And you
after
knew
I
the whole,
asked you.
did you know the whole time that there was a possibility that this other gentleman could be her biological father the entire time?
At first, I had no doubt in my mind that Christian, wasn't the father of my child. But as Christina got older and her features started changing, that's when I, had some doubts about it.
But now your husband has formed a bond with this beautiful little girl. He's on her birth certificate.
Right.
He's raised her. And you never stop to say, I better say something?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, she's so cute. So if he has a caption saying, this is my child, you had told this other man that the child was his?
Yes.
Yeah, before me, right? Before me. I don't mean anything. Just this random person gets the best information in the world, and you feel like you can't tell me the one thing that I actually need to hear for my sanity.
I think we need to hear from that other man, and he is here. Jerome, please escort Mr. Joseph Prater into the courtroom.
That's tough. That's tough.
We're gonna have you go right up to the witness stand right next to the judge.
Mr. Prater, how did you meet Miss Smith?
I seen her walking down the sidewalk, and I actually ran behind her, and we exchanged numbers. We talked on the phone for a little bit, not too much in depth, but we talked for a little bit, and then maybe a couple days after that, we met up.
Did she tell you she was married?
No, ma'am, I had no clue.
So when did you find out about the baby?
I don't know a time verbatim, but the first time that I've seen Cookie in person she was 2 years old.
Did you ever find out she was pregnant at all 2 years before?
You know what, I don't even remember verbatim, I don't.
So tell me about the first time you met Cookie.
I was in downtown. We met in a public place, and I saw her walking, and she was in a stroller, and she just looked up at me with like a mischievous, like one of those type things, and I was like, yo, you know me from somewhere? Like, that's when I felt like it might have been my daughter.
You did?
Yeah, it was something there, like she knew me already.
And so when you met her, did Miss Smith say to you, this is your child?
I ain't gonna lie, when I seen her, she looks just like my dad. She looks just like us, so, I never really doubted it, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I always thought that, yo, this is my child.
And so while all this is happening, at 2 years old, you find out, you accept it, you've got this little girl. Do you make plans to stay in her life and to be a part of her life and to take care of her?
Yes, ma'am, I did, but at the same time, I wasn't in a position to be a structure of a good parent or anything at all.
So you're saying that you did not start providing support for the child?
I mean, I would see her, and we would
So
spend
you
time,
would see her and
but
you
as
would
far
spend
as-
time with her?
Yes, ma'am, but as far as
How many
financial-
times did you see her and spend time with her? She's 4 now. After you met her when she was 2, did you see her more than one occasion?
Oh, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
And you'd always refer to yourself as daddy?
Yes, ma'am.
And all this time, Mr. Smith, you're also spending time with her?
Of course.
And having absolutely no idea this entire encounter occurred, still referring to yourself as daddy as well. Miss Smith, what kind of web you weaving?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you time to think on it. I'm gonna hear from your mother. Please stand. Ma'am, step over to the podium. State your name for the record, ma'am.
My name is Tony Brooks.
And you are Mr. Smith's mother.
I am, Your Honor.
Your son has already said that when he first, had issues in his marriage, he ended up moving out. They ended up getting back together. They had this beautiful baby. This baby, I'm sure if your son thinks it's his daughter, that's in your heart and mind your grandchild.
It is my grandchild. It is. I love her. She's been there. When they broke up, I've never thought they should have been together in the first place. I always feel like their relationship is just toxic. It doesn't work.
At what point do you even find out about Mr. Prater?
I kept asking him, what's wrong with you? What's it? He wouldn't tell me. And he finally was like, look, I got to show you something. And he pulls up the Instagram and just puts it out there. He was like, see, I guess you were right, Ma. And I didn't want it to be a point of me being right. That's not the point. The truth just needs to be out.
But with that said, the truth is that you obviously didn't know that from that 2-year point, Mr. Prater is still in contact and seeing Cookie as her father, and your son is still functioning like Cookie's father. And Miss Smith, even though you opened up and told Miss Brooks the truth, you still were allowing Mr. Prater to see her behind your husband's back.
Until just now. I didn't even know any of that.
And Mr. Prater, you did not know about Mr. Smith.
Oh, man.
So, Miss Smith, why?
I just couldn't find the right time to say anything about it.
When you have issues like this, the right time is the soonest time available. Because that means the child would have clarity. Your child. And so as we stand here today, what are your hopes in this moment? I assume, Mr. Smith, you hope that you are her biological father?
Definitely, without a doubt. I can't really ask for anything more, honestly. I would love that.
And Mr. Prater, I assume since you are attached to her and believe you're her biological father, you also hope you are her biological father.
I do hope she's my daughter. Like, at the end of the day, I do want to apologize to bruh and say that I feel like at the same time, if I am the father, she's just going to have 2 because he's been there for 2 years, 4 years. And, at the end of the day, I'd be wrong to come to snatch them.
Ms. Smith, what do you hope for?
I'm just hoping that we could all work together for Christina. Because at the end of the day, it's about her.
And I'm ready to get the results for her. Jerome, I'll take the envelope, please.
You go, Your Honor.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. If you need paternity court, call us at 855-883-6223. In the case of Smith versus Smith, pertaining to whether Mr. Smith or Mr. Prater is the biological father of 4-year-old Christina Smith, it has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Prater. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. I know that was not the news you wanted.
That's tough.
Oh, I know.
But it doesn't matter. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. It's my baby. It's my baby.
But we have to be honest, it's his baby too. And he is the biological father, and you are the legal father, which means this web is still continuing.